Fake Goodwin here, and eventually we will like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. Help promote and rank up my channel. So I'm behind on content today. Probably only gonna get this video out because I spent all day with my 4 little demon children, little toddlers, just wreak havoc. No, man, they've been misbehaving seriously today. But I want to talk about the latest rumor about Luke Skywalker supposedly getting his own series. So let's talk about this rumor. Luke Skywalker possibly getting his own TV show. This was reported by Fandom Wire. I'm not sure what kind of credibility they have. Maybe it's dog shit. Maybe it's Mike Zero level of credibility, which isn't very much at all. But hey, you know, guy's creative. I mean, he's certainly got the talent to make up bullshit all the time. That is a talent. So no disrespect to him. You gotta criticize people for their faults and praise them for their qualities. And his ability to make up shit on the spot, maybe Lucasfilm should hire him to be a writer. He can expand Star Wars to the degree that Kevin Feige's done with the MCU. With that said, though, enough of that. People can do whatever they want on their channel. I don't really care. It doesn't bother me, and I don't like to shame people for what they do on their channel. So Fandom Wire, I don't know if they have any credibility, claims that this is in development. They said this is an exclusive. They can confirm Lucasfilm and Disney Plus are in early stages of developing a Luke Skywalker series set around the time era of The Mandalorian. Now, of course, with that comes this. He does stress that development means teams connected to Lucasfilm are prepping and writing the following projects. It does not guarantee they will make it to air. Isn't that the way this stuff always goes? The rumor game, the scooper game. Oh yeah, I can assure you my sources have told me this is 100% happening. But if it falls apart, that doesn't mean I was making up bullshit. That just means that it fell apart. It was really going to happen, but it just never manifested into a reality that the general public could take notice of, but it was real. And there's absolutely nothing you could do to discredit me because my sources. Anyways, as for who might play Luke Skywalker in this rumored series, Fandom Wire claims there are talks to have Mark Hamill reprise his role as he did in The Mandalorian and just de-age him. Hamill is reportedly on board to return to the character. See, here's the problem with this, though. However, due to the expense of de-aging technology, there are also discussions to recast him. Fandom Wire claims one of the biggest considered to play Luke Skywalker would be Sebastian Stan. Now, to me, yes, this is MCU. If this were true, look, MCU does branch out. They use their own in-house actors and give them more stuff to do to keep them in-house. So, I mean, it's not that much of a stretch. Chris Evans getting Lightyear. So, yeah, but here's the problem with this. This guy's been fan casted for a while. People have been recommending this guy for a while to play. This is fan casting. Sebastian Stan as Luke Skywalker, which I don't think would work. Here's the, you can, do your little memes with pictures of them side by side and all that. But I think the real impact is that it's Mark Hamill. It doesn't work if it's not Mark Hamill. That's why, that's why the what they used to make it look like Mark Hamill didn't look so great, but it was effective. It worked because it was Mark Hamill. Even though it wasn't the best looking Luke Skywalker on The Mandalorian in that season finale, it worked because it was Mark Hamill, not because it was some recasted person. That's what made it work. Now, the idea of them doing a whole show with that kind of technology seems like it's pretty damn expensive, because I would have thought that they wouldn't even have Luke Skywalker. Yes, it made 100% for the story to have Luke Skywalker be the one that show up, that's in the reality of the story, but in the reality of reality, to think Disney would throw that kind of money into this thing to have Luke Skywalker actually show up, and they didn't really throw that kind of money into this thing because, yes, what they did have there was expensive, but that was just a very, we'll just use whatever the fuck's lying around to make this work. Kathleen Kennedy doesn't need no shit. do it. No, I mean, I'm sure it had to pass for her approval, and she was all on board with doing this, so it wasn't like they just stabbed her in the back and did this on her own, to her shocking surprise. No, so, anyways, the idea of recasting Luke Skywalker and doing a show based off it, I don't know if that would work. I don't think that would work. The idea of running a whole show with this de-aging stuff sounds incredibly expensive. Even if it's just like 6 episodes of Luke Skywalker's show, that sounds really expensive. But it wouldn't work without Mark Hamill. I wouldn't think it would work. I could be incredibly wrong. This is the latest rumor. This latest rumor follows a separate rumor from back in July that detailed the Luke Skywalker film would be in the works set around the time frame of The Mandalorian. The rumor came from YouTuber Doomcock, which I don't know much about. He reports a lot of rumors, a lot. He's got his sources. He's into that scooper stuff. I don't know how much credibility he actually has or doesn't have, so I can't really say for sure. But what he talks about in here is the scenario that Doomcock calls the Big Red Eraser. Lucasfilm used the veil of the Force to kill Palpatine when he enters the veil at the end of Return of the Jedi, thereby erasing everything that comes after that. So basically he's saying that this would disregard the sequel trilogy. Now, here's the thing, this kind of doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about, so I'm not really sure why it's included in here, unless there's for some reason alluding. Well, I mean, I guess it does, because the sequel trilogy made Luke Skywalker look bad. Most people don't consider that Luke. I don't consider that Luke. That's Mark Hamill doesn't consider that Luke. So you can say whatever you want, but and if you're a fan of the sequel trilogy, no shame. And I'm glad you enjoyed it. I wish I could. More power to you for being able to enjoy that. I'm glad you can enjoy that. But me, I don't enjoy it. So I guess the relevance here is that those films made Luke look like trash, and this veil of the Force would be erasing those. And as much as people like to say, oh, that's far-fetched, that's crazy, that's out there, that's insane, they would never erase or disregard the sequel trilogy in that manner, there's a lot of credibility to the idea that they're gearing up to do this, because the Ahsoka Tano show, she's looking for Thrawn. By extension, Ezra Bridger, the veil of the Force stems, this all revolves around that. Her show, I expect it to revolve around that. So there is high amount of potential for them to disregard the sequel trilogy, especially with Spider-Man 3 doing the whole multiverse, the Doctor Strange doing the whole multiverse, the WandaVision doing the whole multiverse. Yes, that's the Marvel Cinematic Universe, not Star Wars, but they're dipping their toes into this kind of shared universe thing that all versions exist, that your favorite versions all exist alongside each other. They coexist. Nobody has to be thrown out and shut out or shamed for their version that they like. And you can see that Disney's doing this not just with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but also they're doing it with, what do you call it, Lightyear. Like I said, they're saying that that Buzz Lightyear is inspired by a real-life hero, so they're making a movie off their real-life hero version of Lightyear that Buzz was the toy from. So you can see that they're doing this more and more, and recently, there's been conversations about continuity, and Dave Filoni, talking like continuity is pretty flexible. So there's all kinds of evidence and stuff. You combine that with the fact that the rematch of the century, that's never supposed to happen. Now you can chalk that up to, Star Wars has always done a little bit of retconning here and there within its own trilogy, even before the sequel trilogy became a thing, because in the prequel trilogy there were a lot of things that could be considered a retcon. Even within the original trilogy, George Lucas made steps with special edition versions and all that. That's how you get to that one conversation about who shot first. So this is not outside of the realm of possibility. Erasing the sequel trilogy, not really erasing it, but considering it a separate dimension that branches off because they go through here, they do something that manipulates the timeline, and it branches off into different directions. So it's not outside of the realm of possibility. Anyways, beyond that, back to this Luke Skywalker show. Why is that relevant to this? Only because the treatment of the Luke Skywalker character in The Last Jedi. But what would a Luke Skywalker show look like? What would it be about? I would think that it would be Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy. Kind of like that. You got Luke Skywalker interested in rebuilding the Jedi Order from the ground up, right? So he's got to go out and recruit other Force sensitives that exist. His wife Mara Jade, his wife-to-be Mara Jade. Then you got characters like Kyle Katarn, these expanded universe characters that have their fans. They really do have their fair share of fans, and the Disney sequel trilogy by disregarding the canon of the books and the comics and stuff, they got rid of a lot of characters that really have a following, really have a lot of love for a lot of characters, and by disregarding the Disney sequel trilogy, you open the doorway up to a lot of other characters. You get more characters by saying, you know what, let's just disregard these movies. And anyways, the point is, what could a Luke Skywalker... I keep getting off point. What could a Luke Skywalker series be about? Rebuilding the Jedi Order. Getting other mature Force users and having them as teachers at your academy. You have Luke Skywalker as the sort of head of the academy, so that might put him a little bit in the background, so you wouldn't have to use that de-aging text so much, because he wouldn't be on screen as much. He'd be kind of pushed to the background, and it really would just be a show about rebuilding the Jedi Order, and it would have a lot of respect and tribute. People would love it because Luke would be in charge of this academy, rebuilding the Jedi Order, and going around recruiting new students, training students. You've got your tension, the potential for any of them to be tempted by the dark side and all that. So there's a lot of elements and ingredients you can mix up in that pot and really make work. You can even take it into an entirely different direction, realizing, you know what, trying to do things by the Jedi way just isn't working. We need to do something that's more balanced. We need to take an approach that accepts both light side and dark side teachings and go with a more balanced approach of the Force. Ultimately, you know, paying off on the whole bringing balance to the Force type of thing, and now, more of a gray Jedi route than a traditional Jedi route. But rather, they would use traditional Jedi route or gray Jedi route. You know, this would be one hell of a show. It would really work. You could have him reach out to Ahsoka Tano, try to get her to join up with the Academy. You know, that could be how those shows interconnect there, how they weave together. You know, whether or not she'd have an interest in actually doing it, or serving a different kind of Jedi Order, one that isn't like the old one. I think this is fascinating. So, I don't know if this show's actually going to ever, but those are just some ideas of how it could work and what it could be about, because these rumors don't say anything about what the show could actually be about. All it does is say, oh, we heard this is happening because this happened right here. And because now that's believable. Now this is believable, right? Like there's now there's the possible. Before you would have been like, oh, that's BS. Well, maybe they're on to something. But that's all this talks about is Luke Skywalker may be getting a show. And if it doesn't happen, we weren't wrong. It just didn't work out. And the possibility of this show, of Ahsoka show introducing the Force Vel that will disregard the sequel trilogy as a separate universe, not actually erase it technically, it just kind of branch it off. That's the way I would assume that they're going with it, because the whole multiverse angle. So, anyways, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this particular subject. It got a bit long-winded because I just want to flesh out the possibilities of what this show could actually be, rather than just say, oh, there's a new rumor that says this is happening, and so it may happen. No, I want to talk about what the show could actually be about, give it some substance. Anyways, like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Stay awesome. Rock on.